Chill Talk.
Chill Talk.
Chill Talk.
Chill Talks.
Welcome to Chill Talks Podcast, your companion in your chill time.
Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Chill Talks Podcast, where we discuss anything and everything over a cup of coffee. So I'm your host once again, PJ, and we are still here at the Rusty Cafe here in Daet, Camarines Norte, our sponsor for this podcast. So now we are joined by one of the guests na gusto kong makausap after discovering na meron palang pet saving organization or pet care organization dito sa Camarines Norte. Miss Ada, one of the founders of Daet Saving Strays, is here on the show to talk about her journey as an advocate for animal rights. So parang same siya nung sa Aara that we've done previously, but this is more on sa Daet naman na perspective. So hi Miss Ada, thank you so much for accepting my humble invitation to be a guest.
Yeah, hi PJ. It's so nice to finally meet you. I'm so
Yes.
excited, and in behalf of Daet Saving Strays, I would like to thank you for allowing us to use this platform as an opportunity to promote our advocacy.
And kasi tawag niyan, before we jump into the discussion, parang ang tagal din kasi nating nag-usap tungkol dito, di ba?
Yes.
We had so many schedules were canceled kasi umuwi ako ng Legazpi, and for sure you were also busy with certain affairs then. And to jumpstart into this, obviously the very first question para masakaalaman din ng lahat, when did you start the Daet Saving Strays and how did you start it?
This question is something na parang hindi ako napapagod sagutin. Kahit na minsan talagang paulit-ulit na siyang natatanong. It's a story that never gets old for me. Parang in 2017, it came out of nowhere eh. So, I have this best friend in college na we're both very passionate when it comes to animals. We really love animals. We treat animals like our child, our siblings. And then one day, pauwi siya somewhere here in Daet, I think sa Alawihaw. May nakita siyang dog na merong makeshift collars sa leeg. Yung makeshift collar is like a straw na ginagamit natin pang tali. So, it turns out na yung straw na yun, it was there ever since yung dog was a puppy. So, habang lumalaki siya, humihigit yung straw, yung makeshift collar sa leeg niya, hanggang sa yung, excuse me sa mga nakikinig, na yung kanyang balat, laman loob, medyo nagiging visible na. So, doon nagsimula, parang, ay, kawawa naman tong asong to. What can we do to help? So, ayun, naisip namin to open a Facebook page, Daet Saving Strays. Agad talaga yung una naming naisip na name. I don't know how it came up, pero yun. Tapos, walang logo, basta lang. Wala talaga siyang concrete plan. Hindi ko nga siya ina-expect na magiging ganito ngayon. So, ayun, dun yung nagsimula.
What were the first challenges? Kasi I think, since dalawa lang kayo nagsimula, the number one concern is the money and kung saan nyo ilalagay yung mga
so true.
Yung mga rescue animals. So paano nyo yung nagawa ng paraan, and what were your first steps to gather supports para magkaroon agad ng funding or more assistance and volunteers sa organization ninyo?
Yeah, syempre ang pinakauna naming problem is manpower. Parehas kaming babae. So, how are we gonna, go out and rescue that poor dog? So, what we did was, una, I asked her to take photos of the dog since doon naman yun sa area nila. So, ayun, nag-take siya ng photos ng dog and then we posted it on the Facebook page and nilagay namin yung details dun sa Facebook page. At first, may mga comments pa nga na, hindi naman totoo yan, baka pinagkakaperahan niyo lang
Scam
kami.
daw, scam.
Scam to. So, ayun, buti na lang, mayroon kaming kakilalang vet during that time na nag-assist sa amin para i-rescue yung dog. Pwede bang mag-shoutout sa kanya?
Sure.
Doc Reuben Perry. Siya yung unang-unang vet na nagsuporta sa Daet Saving Strays na kahit walang guarantee na we will be able to accumulate funds for that rescue is go na go pa rin siya. Tumulong siya sa pag-rescue. So, yun. Pumunta kami sa site and then hinanap yung dog. Siyempre, struggle yung pag-rescue. Medyo mailap yung aso. Siyempre, takot siya sa tao. Pero ayun, dahil nga sa pag-assist ni Doc Rio na Perry, we were able to rescue the dog. Then, protocol kasi namin na kapag may rescue, sa vet agad. Para una pa lang, makikita na natin, malalaman na natin kung ano yung problema ng dog, kung may mga underlying conditions siya. So, ayun, dinala siya sa vet hanggang sa inoperahan siya doon. And nung nakita na ng mga tao na na-rescue na talaga namin, dinala namin sa vet, ayun, nag-pour out yung support. Monetary donations.
So parang lumabas na, ay, legit pala to.
Pala.
Legit. At least having that first person to believe in you is the start of this incredible advocacy. And
Yes.
I think correct me if I'm wrong, one of the main principles of animal welfare advocates is that anyone can be a rescuer.
Yes, that's so true.
So, with that said, halimbawa, as someone, halimbawa, hindi ako marunong mag-handle ng mga aso or any kind of animal, pero gusto kong tumulong. So, ano yung usual na first step na ginagawa to gain the trust of an animal? Kasi iba siya sa tao, di ba? Hindi ka pwede magsabi na, wait, tulungan nga kita. Di ba? Animals cannot understand that. So, what's the first step to gain their trust?
Alam mo kasi, parang, ang mga aso kasi parang tao rin. They have different personalities. Some are friendly, some are aggressive. But what do they have in common is kapag in pain sila, syempre, aloof sila and aggressive. So, I'll be very honest with you kung ano yung first step. I really don't know. Walang parang valid or concrete na step. Parang talagang ang gagawin mo lang is kukuhin mo yung trust ng aso by, alam mo yun, yung simpleng pagpapaamoy ng kamay mo na, I won't harm you. And yun nga, lagi namin ginagawa is nagpapa-assist kami sa trusted vet namin. Kasi yun nga, nabanggit ko earlier na most of our volunteers are female. So, ang nangyayari is, meron kaming trusted vet na nag-a-assist sa amin sa mga rescues. Pero may mga instances naman na kayang-kaya na ng mga female volunteers na hindi na kailangan ng assistance. So, ayun. Hindi ko rin alam paano nila nagagawa yun.
So, parang it's kinda lying on instinct talaga.
Yun, instinct.
Oo, na so bakit? Kasi usually ang animals, based from experience din, nasisense nila if the intention is actually pure.
Parang ganun na nga.
Kasi parang, yun nga, we have our dogs as well. Yun nga, sabi ko kanina off-air, we have 16 dogs. And sometimes pag may nasasaktan, tas hahawakan namin sila, nafe-feel naman nila kung tutulungan namin or sasaktan nila. Parang they kinda detect parang energy ng tao. If that makes sense. Parang ganun yung instinct ng mga aso. So, yeah, and at the same time, speaking with the volunteers na nasabi mo kanina, did they reach out to you personally or nag-post kayo ng ad na you are looking for volunteers?
Yes, we posted on Facebook that we need volunteers for Dive Saving Strays. And then, after that is, ang nangyari is orientation, kung ano yung magiging role mo, kung saang committee ka kaya fit. And after that, yun, the rest was, history.
Talagang tuloy-tuloy na. Kasi pag may isang pumasok, sanga-sanga na siya sa diba? Pero how do you manage your time as a woman na may career, syempre, may trabaho, you have your own responsibilities. So how do you balance it as being an advocate as well? Kasi, technically, this is an unpaid advocacy. Personally, wala kang nakukuhang monetary value, walang monetary gain. So, paano mo siya nababalance?
That's a very good question, PJ. I really don't know. Pero I believe na when you have the heart to do something, you don't find time You make time for that specific passion or advocacy or whatever it is. So, yun, you have to make time talaga. And you just balance it with your work. Kasi active ako sa church. I have church and then I have work and eto ngang Dive Saving Strays. So, ayun. Hindi ko rin alam kung paano ko siya namamanage ng ganun. Pero, I make time.
Nung nagsimula pala kayo nung friend mo, di ba nagsimula kayo sila? Were you able to set any form of expectations na kung hanggang saan lang aabot yung extent ng rescue organization ninyo? Or parang nagulat lang kayo na bigla na lang dumating sa ganitong level yung success nung organization ninyo?
Kasi during that time, we were so young pa eh. Mga 17, 20, parang ganon. So, we really don't have concrete plans or long-time plans for the organization. It's just that our goal is rescue animals no matter what happens. So, yun. Yung goal na yun, it change over time. Syempre, we have to, set standards or limitations. Kasi, aminin natin, volunteer-based organization lang siya. So, ibig sabihin, limited lang din yung kaya namin gawin.
True. And during those times, ano yung situation na nangyari sa inyo na napaisip ikaw or yung mga group members nyo na you are doing the right thing?
Okay. Every time na yung mga hopeless animal na nire-rescue namin is nakikita namin na change life na talaga. They are living their best life with their loving homes. Ayun, yun yung time na nasasabi namin, we're doing the right thing. So, yun.
Every time na may nakukuha kayong, ano tawag dito?
Patpatin.
Oo, tapos biglang tumataba.
Tapos sobrang cute na nung aso. Sobrang ganda na ng buhay niya. Nakakama na siya. Dati sa basurahan siya natutulog. So, ayun, yung mga ganang bagay, parang, wow. Ang sarap sa feeling pag ganun.
Ano tawag yan? It's kind of fulfilling na it's those kinds of things na hindi ka nag-expect ng something in return, pero once you see the progress ng animal
it's very fulfilling.
Yes. And speaking of animals, kasi again, one of the biggest criticisms na nakukuha ng mga animal welfare advocate ay bakit kayo gumagawa ng ngayon? Mga hayop lang naman.
Yes.
So, why should we care?
Good question, no? Alam mo, nung nagsa-start ang Diet Savings Trace, marami rin kaming mga nakukuhang negative comments from people. Siguro ganun talaga, no? No matter what you do, kahit gaano man yung ka-clear or ka-good yung intentions mo, people will always have something to say. Why should we care? Animals are also, part of this community, part of this world. And i-quote ko lang yung sinabi ni Mahatma Gandhi. Sabi niya dito, "The greatness of a nation and its moral progress can be judged by the way its animals are treated." So, I think kung sa isang society, how we treat animals is basically like a reflection of who we are as a society. And alam mo, PJ, nung nagsa-start pa lang ang Diet Savings Trace, hindi ko nalilimutan to na may nag-comment sa amin na, bakit gagawa-gawa pa kayo niyan? Pwede namang tao na lang ang tulungan nyo. So, ayun, medyo yung mga ganong comments, syempre hindi na natin yung pinapansin, pero let's face it kasi there is an government sector for that, that will cater yung needs ng people. And yung sa animals, hindi siya masyadong parang nabibigyan ng attention talaga.
And at the same time, to add to that, parang having a sense of care sa mga animals is a way to to deepen the bonds ng isang community. Kasi, correct me if I'm wrong, may isang bansa na lahat ng mga strays ay buwelo sila. Meron lang tag sa tenga.
Nakakatuwa.
Tapos, lahat ng mga tao pwedeng pong pakainin, lahat may anti-rabies shots, pero lahat lang sila, as in, nasa streets lang sila. Wala silang inuuwian, pero the whole community is caring for that. Kasi parang nagsimula yun doon sa mayor mismo na nag-establish ng ganong policy na dapat all animals should be treated with respect, and pag may pagkain ka, may pagkain ka. Yung tipong kada sulok ng city merong mga dispenser ng foods for dogs.
Parang gusto kong lumipat dyan.
Kalimutan ko yung bansa I think it was already featured so many times. So, if ever maalala ko, ilagay ko na lang sa sa correction natin sa show notes. Pero moving on, pagdating sa mga diet saving strays, di ba? So, aside from dogs and cats, were there any animals na na-caught nyo rin or na-rescue nyo rin through your group?
Our main focus talaga is yung dogs and cats. So, walang other animals involved.
Walang mag-reach out sa inyo na pag may
pa-rescue ng ahas.
yung mga ganon, yung hindi naman siya extermination, yung exactly may ahas sa kanal.
Tawag po kayo sa DENR.
Oo, yung ganon. Minsan nga, yung doon sa Albay, sila rin yung tinatawag pag may mga roadkill na mga aso at pusa. Sila rin yung tinatawagan para linisin yung remains. May ganun din ba kayo dito sa Daet?
So far, wala pa naman. Talagang more on rescuing hopeless, yung mga abandoned, neglected animals. Yun lang so far.
So sa mga abandoned, I think that's one of the most heartbreaking cases ng lalo na pag nalaman mo kung sino yung nag-abandon na.
Ouch.
Were there any cases na ganun? You encountered an abandoned cat, dog, tapos na-identify nyo kung sino yung nag-abandon na ng animal?
Yung na-identify kung sino yung nag-abandon na, so far wala pa. Pero may mga instances na may na-rescue kami na proven abandoned kasi meron siyang collar. So, iniwan lang siya sa isang vacant lot kasi yung aso pala is may sakit. So, unfortunately, hindi nag-survive yung dog. Pero meron pang isa, Shih Tzu siya. Pagala-gala siya sa Bagasbas Beach. Galisin na siya. And obviously, merong owner yun dati. Pero dahil yung condition niya is naging worse, nagkaroon siya ng galis, parang hinayaan na lang siya mag-wander. Pero ayun, fortunately, merong nagmagandang loob na willing mag-foster for free. So, baka siya na rin yung piliin namin na eventually mag-adopt dun sa aso. Pero yun, mag-a-undergo pa siya ng screening.
So, speaking of the screening, what's your process sa screening? Ilang tao yung dumadaan sa screening process para masabi na yung isang tao ay worthy para maging owner ng isang rescue animal?
We actually only have two na in charge sa screening committee ng mga interested to adopt or foster our rescued animals. And they have set of questions for them. And after that, syempre inaalam ang location, anong klaseng environment ba meron, like may backyard ba, or anong plano mo dun sa aso, ikukulong mo lang ba sa loob ng bahay, or hahayaan mo siya mag-roam around your backyard, yung mga ganong questions. And are you willing ba na ipagamot ang aso in case na magkaroon ng sakit? Kasi syempre, hindi naman enough na parang papakainin mo lang yung aso and bibigyan mo ng shelter, kasi diba, it goes beyond that, yung animal care. So ayun yung mga tinatanong sa mga interested, and nagkakaroon din ng parang house visit. Minsan surprise house visit para matignan talaga kung anong klase yung bahay na lilipatan ng mga rescued animals namin.
Yung anong tawag nito, parang you are measuring the level of commitment ng isang tao. Kasi I can agree, kasi hindi naman talaga kain paligo lang naman ang pag-alaga ng isang aso, kasi pag nagkasakit yan, nagkaroon ng diarrhea. Handa mo bang linisin ang bawat dumi niya? It comes with animal care, kasi yun ang hindi nakikita nila. Ay, pag may cute na aso, okay na.
Yun nga.
May maibida ka na lang na cute na aso. Pero beyond those things, pag kayo na lang sa bahay, di mo makikita yung mga times na nagdadiarrhea.
Alam mo, usually, share ko lang, yun yung napapansin ko kapag cute yung dogs, halimbawa, may nag-ask sa amin ng help na pwede po bang patulong pag-rehome ng mga tuta namin sa bahay. And yung mga tuta, syempre, cute, fluffy. Kapag ganun yung mga put up namin for adoption, wala pang 30 minutes.
Ubus na. Oo.
Pero kapag yung dog nakita nilang medyo payat, galisin, walang pumapansin. So, I think, we should love animals regardless kung ano man ang breed nila, anong itsura nila.
Oo.
Kasi yung love nila, sobrang genuine talaga. And, alam mo yun, hindi mo siya ma-describe.
Kasi I think that's one of the issues din. Kasi minsan, hindi lang sa pagiging cute, unang itatanong din, anong breed niyan? I think yun yung nakikita ko lagi sa mga posts, kasi before, since we have so many dogs, parang when I post puppies for adoption,
may Shih Tzu ba?
May Shih Tzu kami, may Aspin din kami. And yung Aspin namin ay ang tagal mag-adapt, kaya yung sinasabi ko lagi, half-breed yan, Labrador, which is true naman, half-breed ng Labrador, half-breed na Aspin, half-breed na Japanese Spitz, para may mag-adapt din. Kasi I don't know why do we have this bias sa mga certain breeds na pag Aspin, ay, hindi yan. Kung tutusin, matalino nga ang Aspins, di ba? And, yun, basta, regardless of breed, please,
consider adopting, fostering.
Kung kaya naman ba mahalin, di ba? Pero, dito papasok, I want your take dito sa parang debate. Yung nakikita ko lagi na adopt, don't shop.
Adopt, don't shop.
Di ba? So, paano pag ikaw ay nag-a-adapt din? So, paano yun? You are disregarding din yung mga aso na for shop. So, how do you balance that kind of argument? Kasi regardless kung ano yung pipiliin mong side, may tuta na may aso na
So
may
true.
echapwera pa rin. Diba? Whether you adopt or whether you shop, kung ano yung pinili mo, yung isa, automatic,
May
madidegma.
chapwera pa rin.
Oo. So, what's your take sa ganung perspective?
Personally, it does not necessarily reflect sa diet savings trays.
Mhm.
Okay lang naman yung adopt, though you shop. We do not promote yung pag-breed, overbreeding ba yung tawag?
Yes,
doon?
overbreeding siya.
Overbreeding to the extent na parang nakakaawa na yung dog, hindi na healthy. That is something that we do not promote. And yan, we also promote na i-prioritize yung mga animals sa shelter kasi sila, yung mga nasa pound specifically kasi may tanning yun.
Oo.
Sa
True.
72 hours, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, most of the time.
So, ayun, i-prioritize natin yung mga nangwas nangangailangan. Kasi, usually naman kapag may breed yung mga nasa pet shops, marami naman bibili niyan. Pero yung chances ng mga asong nasa pound, parang it's so minimal lang.
And also, to add, kasi alas lahat aso pinag-uusapan natin, let's move on to cats.
To cats.
So,
Cat person ka ba?
hindi. Sadly, hindi. I love cats, pero parang, I don't know. Parang mas gusto ko kasi yung aso na yung tatalon sa'yo, papayakap.
Medyo ano yung personality ng mga cats na medyo complicated,
Oo.
complex.
Especially when it comes to rescuing. So, how do you handle it? Kasi, mas mahirap hulihin ng pusa kaysa
Totoo.
sa aso. So, how do you manage catching rescue cats pagdating sa mga rescue operations ninyo?
We have these two very dedicated volunteers na ang specialization, I don't know why, are cats. Kasi siguro meron siyang more than 10 cats at home. So, sanay na siya how to handle cats, how to deal with their attitude. So, syempre, yun, you have to make sure meron kang safety equipment, safety gloves, and then, alam mo yung usual na may dala kang cage, tapos lalagay mo yung food sa loob, tapos papasok sila doon. Usually, ganun naman yung mga techniques lang eh. Kasi,
Sa pagdating ba sa pusa, legit ba yung lalapit sila? Kasi
Oo.
yun yung nakikita ko lagi. Kahit ako siguro, by instinct, pag may nakikita akong pusa, di ko alam kung totoo yun, pero pero minsan, ano tawag nito, ang saya rin minsan sa feeling na, alam mo yun, yung biglang yung animal na lang yung lalapit sa'yo.
lalo na pag cats ha.
Oo, lalo
Kasi
na-
they don't usually make lapit
Oo,
sa
oo.
tao.
Hindi sila madaling magtiwala sa mga tao eh. So pag ikaw ay nilapitan ng pusa,
That is
nag-brush,
something.
parang, oh my God, I feel so powerful.
It's superior.
Oo, I feel so superior. Kahit pag manabigyan ng pera, basta lahat ng hayop, lapitan ako, di ba? And when it comes to your organization din pala, how do you handle, for sure, since you have so many volunteers, conflict ay nangyayari din within people. So,
Conflict within
within
volunteers.
volunteers and yung founders. So, ano yung usual na disagreements na nangyayari sa organization ninyo and how do you handle those kinds of disagreements?
Good question kasi PJ. Usually, ang nagiging conflict so far, kasi I really have a very solid team and I'm so thankful for that na hindi ko kailangan ng sobrang daming volunteers. I just need a few that are really dedicated to their craft. So usually, ang parang pinagtatalunan lang namin or nagkakaroon kami ng disagreement is i-rescue ba natin ang asong to? Kasi meron kaming volunteers na, syempre, yun nga, may mga kailangan i-consider. Do we have fund? Mayroon na ba tayong willing mag-rescue? After that, saan na dadalhin? So, yun, yung mga things na kailangan i-consider. Eh, meron kasing minsan, ang kawawa naman, kunin na lang natin, bahala na. So, ayun, usually, yun lang yung mga nai-encounter namin na problems.
Pero that's heartbreaking na you have to decide whether you should rescue a pet or not. Kasi, pag nag-decide kayo na wag nyo na i-rescue, parang you're just leaving them to die, di ba? So parang ganun. So this leads to my next question. How do you handle those kinds of heartbreaks? Kasi one of the things that comes along with being an animal advocate or being an animal lover in general is yung heartbreaks na ikaw ay mamamatayan ng hayop sa tabi mo, sa harap mo. So I also asked this question doon sa Legazpi Animal Rights Advocates, pero I want to hear your side as well. How do you handle those kinds of heavy moments na kung tutusin, pag mahina talaga puso mo, you might quit in this kind of advocate work?
Even before we started, parang I already made it clear to myself na this is an animal welfare organization, purely voluntarism. So, meaning to say na the things that we can do ay limited lang talaga. May mga, hindi lahat ng animals dito sa daet ay kaya natin i-rescue. Talagang limited lang because we have limited fund, limited resources, limited manpower. So, I think yun yung sad reality na hindi lahat talaga ay kaya mong i-rescue.
And I think by accepting those limitations, it kind of makes you feel more grounded kung hanggang saan lang talaga. Hindi yung iikot sa idealism na we must rescue everyone. At least alam nyo kung hanggang saan lang kayo. And sadly, when you reach that limit, you just have to accept the reality na may mga times na sad but true. But let's move on to a more happy note. One of the things na na-observe ko rin is you conducted several events with various organizations, like yung nagpa-picture taking kayo dun sa SF, yung parang picture with your pet, and you collaborated with different influencers as well. How does it feel, yung mga ganong overwhelming support na nakukuha ninyo from different people na hindi nyo naman kakilala? And did you expect that kind of support jumping into this kind of work?
I didn't really expect that kasi yun nga. Nakakagulat na ganoon karaming tao na willing mag-support sa isang animal welfare organization. And, I'm just so thankful na may mga tao na nag-share ng same advocacy kagaya ng Diet Saving Strays na kagaya ni Conyo Bicolano. I think twice na namin siya nakasama for the event dahil we share the same passion, advocacy, and may care din siya sa animal welfare. So, alam mo yun, I'm just so thankful na may mga ganong tao. And yung sa mga event naman, it's so overwhelming hanggang ngayon na we were able to organize such events. And lahat naman kasi yun, fundraising activity, and that is for, yun nga, para sa shelter na pinaplano namin. So, ayun, so thankful talaga. Beyond grateful, I'm actually out of words. Hanggang ngayon, medyo wow, nakakatuwa.
Hanggang ngayon, parang in disbelief ka na gano'n ang na-achieve, which is, I think, kind of a good thing din kasi, ano tawag nito? Sometimes, may mga lahat tayo ata may inner pet lovers. Parang, we just kind of need someone to voice out ng gano'n. And I think you guys did that. Kaya parang, nag-rally na yung mga tao na may same beliefs na tulad nung sa inyo. Pero, moving on to this next part, kasi isa sa mga napag-usapan natin kanina, diba, is yung mga ginagawa ninyo. Pero, ano naman yung mga sa tingin mo kailangan i-prioritize ng mga local governments natin para ma-improve din ang animal welfare? Kasi I think there are laws around animal acts, animal welfare acts, pero hindi masyado nating napapansin kasi iba-iba din talagang priority ng mga gobyerno. Pero sa'yo, Ada, sa tingin mo, how can the government, mapa-national man or local, how should they handle pagdating sa mga ganitong clauses pagdating sa animal treatment?
I think we really need to address the main root of the problem. I think we don't really have we need to raise awareness. Yung awareness talaga about responsible pet ownership, na kapag ba nagpabaya ka ng aso mo, anong mangyayari sa'yo? Yung mga ganong bagay, I think pwedeng mag-focus dun ang government natin sa information dissemination, awareness, and at the same time, mga activities like free anti-rabies, kasi may mga countries na wala namang cases ng rabies. Medyo nakakapagtaka na bakit meron pa rin ganun sa atin. So, I think yun, palawakin pa siguro yung anti-rabies vaccination, and yun nga, yung awareness talaga.
Isa rin ba sa natiris ako, without naming candidates kasi may mom and I talked nag-usap kami nito noong mga nakaraang buwan ata before ako lumipat dito, na dapat ang candidate daw ay isa sa criteria din namin is dapat animal lover din. Do you have that also kind of criteria when it comes to electing public officials na
Personally,
dapat? Personally.
Personally, kasi ang chosen candidate ko naman is a reflection of my values din. So, kailangan, syempre, kung ano yung values na pinaniniwalaan ko,
Ganun
syempre
ba?
yung pinaniniwalaan na values na yun based on facts hindi sa fake news. So, ayun, kailangan align din. So, magandang bagay rin siguro kung animal lover din yung candidate.
So far, dito sa Daet, I'm curious, do you have any partnership with the local government?
With the local government?
Pagdating sa pag-manage ng pounds, pag-conduct ng mga adoption drives, do you have that kind of established partnership na?
So far, wala pa. Yun yung wino-workout namin. And I think ang local government unit naman is very open. Kasi we have a volunteer na nag-work doon. And na-reach out niya yung si Vice Mayor. And very willing naman to help with regards dun sa animal welfare. Basta mag-reach out lang din kami doon. Yun yung wino-workout talaga namin ngayon.
And siguro baka after election pa at least after election, it will be a fresh start kung sino man yung manalo, di ba? You can reach out, kakatapos pa lang ng election, may pwede na silang magawa. Kasi one of the things na na-propose or napag-usap-usapan din ng ibang animal advocates na nakakausap ko is that parang partnership with the different barangays. So parang you kinda inform them kung how yung mga proper pet treatment. Yung parang you're duplicating yourself as an animal advocate sa mga barangays para in case na may makita ang animal in need, may basic knowledge na. So parang a sort of community organizing that is leaning towards the animal welfare per barangay para sa part din ng animal rights advocates, di na kayo mahirapan. Di ba? You have the Daet chapter, meron kayong Basud chapter, Bagasbas chapter. So mas lumalawak siya, and having the access of the government, local government, to those kinds of programs kinda expands yung services ng isang pagiging isang animal rights. So parang yun yung ginagawa ng iba, and hopefully yun din yung planong i-adapt sa Albay. I'm not talangin ko lugod si mother ko after nito I might ask her if it's already implemented, pero yun yung napag-usap-usapan din namin. So do you think kasi for sure sa Daet kayang-kaya nyo naman.
Oo.
Kayang-kaya
considering
nyo naman
na this is just a small town, simulan natin sa maliit hanggang sa lumawak ng lumawak, domino effect.
Kasi parang soon. Hopefully. Kasi parang it kind of proves hindi lang nagiging band-aid solution ng isang animal welfare group. Kasi yun
actually.
Yun kasi nagiging problem din. Kaya minsan maraming sumusuko na parang ang ginagawa lang naman daw ng mga animal rights advocates, it's kind of a band-aid solution. Band-aid solution to a bigger wound. So why not heal the wound itself and not cover it? So parang
yung long-time solution na talaga sa main problem.
So parang yun yung nakikita daw na.
Oo. Kaya kami rin yun nga, sabi ko sa'yo kanina na hindi lahat nire-rescue namin. Meron talagang i-decline kasi ang principle din ng Daet Savings Trace is parang kapag rescue lang kami ng rescue, parang tinotolerate lang din namin yung mga irresponsible pet owners.
Exactly.
So parang, okay lang naman palang pabayaan ko tong asong to kasi
may sasalo.
May Daet Savings Trace naman pala, kukunin sila.
Oo.
So alam mo PJ, share ko lang ulit ha, medyo nanggigigil ako sa ganyan na may nagme-message siya sa page na pwede po bang ipa-adapt ko na lang tong asong to, ayoko na po kasing alagaan. Ay, natitrigger ako pag ganun.
Oo, yung tipo, galaga ka pa ng aso.
Bashi, ikaw na yung mag-reply.
Kasi at the same time, you need to parang kailangan mo rin ng konting professionalism in responding to that question. Ay, queries kasi siguro kung wala kang professionalism, baka namura mo na yun
Baka ginalitan mo na, alaga ka, tapos hindi mo kapangatawanan.
Nung tutak, sabi ka, cute-cute nung tumanda. Hindi na cute. Minsan may mga ganun.
So, una ko talagang tinatanong, bakit po? Ano po ang reason kung bakit gusto niyo nang i-surrender? So, ayun, wala naman ako nakukuhang mga
yung valid talaga
na reasons. So,
kasi,
ayun, ini-educate na lang din na having a pet po is a lifetime commitment. Pero deep inside, nanggigigil.
I think ang pwede ko lang atang matanggap din na excuse sa ganyan is kung pupunta ng ibang bansa at
hindi madadala.
No choice talaga. If ganung case, okay.
Acceptable.
Heartbreaking siya pero sige. Pero yung mga ay, hindi ko po kaya na.
Ayoko na po, ang hirap po pala.
Or maybe pag wala na talagang pera, no? Kasi minsan may mga ibang animal owners tapos nagipit yung finances. Syempre, you have to choose between family or
It happens.
It happens, 'di ba? So parang can also be valid, but yung dahil di na po siya cute ay no. 'Di ba? Pero I think meron din mga pet drop off points, 'di ba? On your part. Meron din ba kayong ganun na pag may ayaw na talaga ng aso, may lugar na pwede kayong puntahan lang or i-chat na lang kayo for meet up sa mga ganong
ayaw na
cases?
nila ng aso. Ay,
Oo.
hindi kasi talaga namin ine-entertain yung mga ganong reasons na ayaw na nila ng pet nila.
Oo.
Yung siguro mga kailangan i-rehome or marami na silang pusa and nagpapatulong lang na maghanap ng potential adopters, yun, that we can accommodate. Pero yung mga ayoko na po nitong aso.
Oo, wag na.
No.
Pero jumping off a tangent, how do you handle yung mga cases of animal abuses naman? Do you have experience with that na
Yes.
sinasaktan, and how do you deal with the owners pagdating sa ganun?
Late lang yun eh. May nag-report sa amin na may dog na victim ng, yun nga, animal cruelty. So, tinaga siya. Lumabas yung intestines niya. So, syempre, emergency yun. Hanap agad ng fund. Kasi, syempre, kailangan may fund talaga eh.
Oo.
Para naman tayong provincial hospital for animals here. So, ayun, hanap ng fund and ayun, buti na lang kasi may mga generous na tao talaga na willing tumulong regardless of the amount. So, ayun, we were able to rescue the dog pero it's too late na for the dog kasi parang hindi na magagawa ng paraan. So, yung nag-sponsor dun sa aso na yun na victim ng animal cruelty, parang i-encourage na rin yung may-ari na mag-file ng case dun sa kapitbahay na may gawa noong pagtataga nga dun sa aso. And hanggang ngayon, last time I checked, yung nag-update siya is nakapag-file na ng kaso. So, it's very important na panindigan natin na kapag ipaglaban natin yung rights ng aso natin na yung iba kasi parang sumusuko na during the course ng hearing kasi parang ang tagal daw, time-consuming. So, buti na lang itong owner na to is talagang decidido siya na bigyan ng hustisya. Mabigat mang pakinggan. Pero yun, bigyan ng hustisya yung nangyari dun sa aso niya. Kasi talagang kung makikita mo yung dog, manggigigil ka. Kasi grabe naman.
Oo.
Bakit naman kailangan umabot sa ganun? Pwede namang shoo. Ba't kailangan tagain
kasi
diba?
pag tatagain, parang nag-effort ka pa talaga maghanap ng pantaga.
Tsaka aso, kaya mong ganunin. What more?
Sa tao. Yeah, agree. And also, di ko to natanong sa mga previous kong kakilala. The question I have is, pagdating, di ba, yung mga funds is voluntary. Yung nagbibigay ng pera for a certain medication, operation ng isang dog. Do you ever receive feedbacks na, ay, sayang ng pera ko, namatay lang naman yung aso, namatay lang naman yung pusa? Do you have that kind of feedback? Kasi, there were cases, hindi sa Bicol, hindi ko napapakalanan kung saan probinsya sa Pilipinas, may isang post na nagsabi na namatay daw yung aso. Dahil I think nasagasaan na tayo yun eh. Tapos may isang nag-comment doon, balik nyo pera ko, sayang naman yung pera ko, namatay lang naman yung aso, akin na yung pera. Do you ever experience it like that dito?
So far, PJ, wala pa naman. Wala pa namang mga ganun. Siguro very understanding yung mga taga-daet.
Thank goodness, no?
Very understanding na, you know, hindi naman namin hawak yung buhay ng aso. Anything can happen. So, tsaka kapag nag-donate ka na, what happens to the money?
Is out of your control
na yun. Pero we're very transparent naman when it comes to the donations that we're receiving. Nag-post naman kami lagi kung saan napupunta yung dinedonate nila.
I think that's important din para hindi rin mapagkamala na you're just scamming. Kasi may mga ganun eh. Kaya nga minsan takot yung mga tao kasi yun nga, yung facade na this is for an animal rescue group pero eventually it's a scam pala. Parang kinuha lang yung pera. And kasi di ba, speaking of money, so far mga organizations ang naga-sponsor sa inyo, di ba? And this is for the knowledge na lang ng mga listeners natin. Ano yung importance ng pagkakaroon ng free spay sa mga pusa? Kasi
sa mga pusa.
Di ba yung nakikita natin usually, free spaying sa mga pusa. So, why is it important na i-spay ang mga pusa?
I think common problem sa society natin is sobrang daming pusa. They multiply like a COVID variant. Sobrang dami nila from, alam mo yun, nagpakain ka lang ng isang pusa, the following day, 10 na sila na in-invite ng pusa. And I think kaya marami rin yung mga pusa is yun nga, hindi sila nakakapon ba yun sa Tagalog, yung spay? Hindi sila nakakapon, so ang tendency is nagmumultiply. Ay, ang dami nating stray cats. So, if meron tayong ganitong program by the local government, yung free spay and neutering, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So, ayun, malilesen natin yung pagdami ng population ng mga stray cats. Ganun.
Okay. So, yan po ha. Kasi may nagtanong kasi sa akin last time, bakit po kailangan i-spay or ano? Parang ano lang naman, parang sa kapon. Yun, alala ko na yung term. Kinakapon kasi.
Para wag na sila mag-multiply.
Para di na dumami. Oo. Para pag hindi na rin kaya bagyan ng pusa, pag matanda na rin yung pusa. And at the same time, pag maraming kuting kasi.
Tinatapon, nakabox pa.
Exactly. Yung mas tumataas yung cases of animal cruelty and pet abandonment, lalo na sa pusa. Kasi hindi ko alam, ang weird ng mga trip ng mga tao.
Na kasi, populated na yung mga
isasako yung pusa, lalagay sa isang lugar. Itatapon. Yun, I don't know. Hindi ko alam kung bakit may mga tao ganun.
How are you capable of doing that?
Oo, diba? Sus ko. And, tapos, during your journey, I think 5 years, tama ba? 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020. Almost 5 years in this journey. Ano yung mga biggest learnings na nadala mo before you were an advocate and the moment you start being an advocate?
Good question, PJ. I think is yung pinaka tumatak sa akin na learning so far is yung quality over quantity, sorry. Na ang mindset ko kasi before, kailangan marami. Pero, yan, along the way, I realized na you don't need a lot of people in your team para mag-function. You just really need to find those really dedicated people na talagang ipo-pour out yung heart nila sa ginagawa nyo. You share the same passion and commitment even without even getting paid for it. So, ayun.
So baka parang, anong tawag niyan? The small things matter na lang. Diba? Kasi minsan, nga naman, anong tawag nun sa quote na yun? Too many chefs ruins the dish. So parang, having a close set of people lang na pinagkakatiwalaan mo, it's a bit beneficial. And, which leads me to this next one. Kasi, as much as I know, meron na kayong organization, may Facebook page na kayo. You've conducted successful events, meron kayong spokesperson. May spokesperson kayo na connected sa, I think, sa local media dito sa Camarines Norte. And you've handled events, may mga pledges kayo from different organizations. And kanina nasabi mo sa off-air natin is meron kayong upcoming shelter. So, given that progress, ano pa ang sa tingin nyong kailangan ng organization ninyo in order to deliver its advocacy even more despite sa support na nakukuha ninyo ngayon?
Since we are trying to work out dun nga sa shelter, kasi hindi naman pwedeng rescue lang ng rescue tapos problema kung saan dadalhin. I think what we need to come up really is a contingency plan. So sabi ko, yun, i-work out natin yun kasi yun nga, mahalaga yun. Since magkakaroon ng shelter, iba na yung responsibility. Mas malaki na yung responsibility kasi, yun nga, may magbabantay sa shelter. Siyempre, yung welfare ng animals na ilalagay mo sa shelter, kailangan mo rin i-consider yun. So, ayun, i-work out yung plan na yun.
Kailangan, anong tawag nito? Kailangan mo...
long-term plan talaga.
Magpapasahod ka na yan eh.
Oo.
Kasi hindi na siya volunteer work when it comes to managing a shelter kasi you will take care of the food, pagpakain ka, magpapagamot ka pag may sakit yung aso.
Electricity bill, water bill.
Pero so far, on a percentage scale, gano'n na yung success rate na malapit na matapos yung shelter ninyo?
Hindi pa siya nasisimulan, actually.
Ground level pa.
Mayroon ng plano.
Oo.
And yung fund kasi that we have right now is not yet sufficient enough para makapag-start dun sa shelter. Ayoko namang mangyari na, okay, nakapag-start tayo, tapos mapipending siya kasi wala na siyang budget. So, baka mabulok lang. So, ayun. Nag-workout din namin yung pag-raise ng fund. We have merch. We're selling merch. And then, yung monthly pledges, meron kami nun. Tapos yung set of activities na ino-organize namin na we're trying to raise fund for the shelter. So, ayun.
So far, based sa mga activities na kinoconduct ninyo, without saying the amount, what were the most successful na events na sa tingin nyo, yun yung kailangan yung consistent na gawin na, it is time efficient, cost efficient din as well, and at the same time, yung nakukuha ninyo ay sobra-sobra sa ina-expect ninyo?
I think so far, ang pinaka-successful namin na inorganize na event is yung kauna-unahang event na inorganize ng Diet Savings Trace. I think that was February 2020. Pause and Play ang tawag. Isa siyang parang entertainment bazaar. Meron kami mga tinap na local entrepreneurs to exhibit their products there. Hindi namin magbayad. Andun lang sila to exhibit their products, and meron pang ilang mga entrepreneurs na parang yung 50% or 90% of their proceeds ay napunta sa Diet Savings Trace. Tapos may local band na tumutugtog doon. Mga volunteers lang din. So, tapos may mga dog show. So far, yun yung pinaka-successful naming event.
Na malaki talaga yung nalikom ninyo.
Yes, and yung tao and yung ingay na ginawa niya.
So what are the chances na yung ganun ay mauulit-ulit within this year? This next year?
Probably this year.
This year?
Kasi, ayun nga, nagluwag na yung restrictions natin when it comes to yung sa COVID.
Yes.
So, hopefully, mas marami tayong events this year. We're cooking up something. Pero ayun, kailangan i-finalize muna before I spill the beans.
Oo.
Pero it's exciting. You'll see a lot of
So
animals.
Kasi ang cute nun yung nakita ko yung parang picture with your pet sa SM Diet. I think that was it February or March? February yun, di ba? It was, ang cute. Sayang, di ko nadala yung aso ko dito sa Diet. Pero ang cute nung ganong event. It kinda invites everyone na ma-share yung passion sa animal welfare. Pero, to bring this episode to a close, what are your final thoughts sa mga pagdating dito sa animal rights advocacy? Even though maraming tao na parang nagiging aware, anong tawag yan? Aware nga sila, pero hindi pa rin, alam mo yun, hindi pa rin nagkakaroon ng pake. Sometimes awareness is good, but action is better most of the time.
Yeah.
So, as someone na ma-experience na sa ganitong advocacy, what's your message to us na hindi pa talaga involved sa mga ganito, and why should we really care? Nandiyan naman kayo na nandiyan na kayo. You're volunteering, you have support. So, why would us care sa ganyan if may gumagawa ng iba?
Yun nga, hindi kasi enough that aware ka lang. Syempre, you have to practice it also. And ayun nga, I think we need to see animals beyond their breed, kung magkano man sila. And I think it really boils down to being a responsible pet owner. And yung fact na even if hindi ka animal lover, alam mo yun, bakit ka mananakit ng animals? Anong license mo para manakit ng animals? If you don't care for them, di hayaan mo na lang. Hindi naman sila nakakaabala sa existence. So, I think yun. And sa mga animal lovers naman or pet owners, having a pet is a lifetime commitment. Hindi lang siya nagtatapos sa pagbibigay mo ng tahanan, Tagalog na tahanan, ng shelter, ng pagkain dun sa pet mo. Siyempre, kailangan yung care din, i-walk mo. It really goes beyond yung pag-provide ng shelter and food. And ang pagkakaroon ng pet is, yun nga, lifetime commitment.
Yes.
And may possibilities, siyempre, na magkaroon ng sakit yung pet mo. So, kailangan mong dalhin sa vet. So, bago ka mag-alaga ng pet, ask yourself first, to what extent are you willing to take sa pag-aalaga sa pet na to? Through thick and thin ba? Corny man pakinggan, pero yun, tanungin mo rin yung sarili mo na no matter what happens ba, aalagaan ko tong pet na to kasi alam mo yun, may buhay din naman sila, and lalo na yung mga dogs and mga cats, di ba mga pets talaga sila at home, and companion sila, so ayun.
Kasi, anong tawag nito? Baka unahan ko na kasi may mga kilala akong listeners na parang advanced din mag-isip minsan. Bakit ang mga animal welfare groups ay ang highlight lang nila is aso, pusa? Why not bakit hindi tinatakel yung mga chickens, yung mga poultries, yung mga yung maling pagkatay sa mga baboy, inhumane ways to butcher animals for food? So why do you focus sa mga aso, pusa lang? Yun yung for sure may magtatanong niyan. And actually before may nagtanong nun may nagtanong na listener last time dati na hindi ko na natanong sa animal welfare groups na na-interview ko. At least this will be a chance for me to ask you that question. So bakit sila lang? Hayop din naman yung ibang animals, diba? They are also abandoned. They are also mistreated. Minsan nga pinapatay for consumption, diba? So why care for dogs and cats? Why na meron pa rin
alam mo,
iba?
medyo controversial topic yan kasi makakahabulin tayo ng PETA. True. So, etong dogs and cats kasi, di ba, sila naman talaga yung domestic animals. They are considered as pets.
Yeah.
I don't want to say this naman, pero yes, chickens, pigs, they are meant for human consumption. But of course, there is a proper way to, ano ba yung tamang term?
Humane
way ng pagkatay. And I think siguro yun yung kailangan strictly na i-observe ng mga animal welfare group na humane ba yung ginagawang yung sa mga slaughterhouse kasi actually nakapanood din ako na medyo, ay grabe naman. Kakatayin mo na. Brutal pa. So, medyo sensitive topic nga siya. I think I'm not knowledgeable enough pa to give my opinion regarding that matter. Ayoko namang magkamali. Pero, yun. With regards nun sa slaughterhouses naman, I think yun nga, i-observe yung humane way ng pagkatay.
Parang, anong tawag nito? When it comes to that question din, kasi since natanong din sa amin ng listener, sa part kasi ng mga animal welfare advocates, ang fino-focus lang nila muna yung animals na kaya nyo ma-handle. Kasi di ba, like we said, there are scopes and limitations to things.
Yes,
and I think
exactly.
And I think the scope is the cats and the dogs, and the limitations ay anything else. Kasi minsan, I don't know, ayoko, maybe hot take, pero pagdating kasi sa mga poultries, yun nga, like you said, we seldom care about poultries kasi we expect them to die. Oh my
Brace
God.
yourself.
Oh my God. Sa mga for sure nakikinig ang mother ko, alam ko mahilig ka sa manok, sa baboy, pero ayun nga, deep inside us, we kind of expect them na gano'n, na maiksi lang yung lifespan nila because of our expectation na they are commonly used for food. So that's why parang less care sa kanila and more care sa mga aso at pusa na, yun nga, since nakakasama natin sa bahay, domesticated, may buhay din sila. So therefore, parang mas kailangan natin pansinin yun, lalo na yung mga inaabandona. Kasi minsan may mga nakikita kong abandonadong manok. Wala lang. Nasa kalsada lang. I don't see any animal rights advocates na kumukuha ng stray chickens sa gilid ng kalsada.
Mukhang mahababang usapin niyang ganyan.
Diba?
Pero gusto ko yung sinabi mo kanina na, yun nga, yung limitations and scope. Parang thesis lang din kasi.
Exactly.
Na ilalagay mo kung ano lang yung scope
exactly.
ng study mo. So, let's be realistic.
Kasi if you don't set the limitations, parang
hindi na
mafo-frustrate ka rin eh. If lahat ay gusto mong ma-cover.
Ikaw na lahat.
Ikaw na. Diba? So parang that kind of settles that argument. Pero, basta, depende kasi, I think may mga animal rights advocate din kasi for poultry. Yun nga, yung humane butchering. And yung sa sabong, I think, there are advocates against sabong na minsan sila na yung bumibili ng sabong sa mga mananabong para hindi lang isabak sa, anong tawag doon? Ano ba yung tawag doon? Yung sabungan mismo, yung lugar. May tawag na ibang term dyan eh.
Hindi ako aware.
Kalimutan ko yun eh. Kalimutan ko na basta yun. A cockfighting house, mga ganong bagay. Basta yun, to answer one of my listeners' question, buti na lang naalala ko. Hindi ko na makalimutan. Chinek ko yung cellphone ko, sabi ko, may notes ako doon. Buti na lang may notes ako. So, with that said, at the end of the day, we're still hopeful sa diet savings trace na eventually ma-penetrate na ang, I think, on a percentage-wise, gano'n na kalaki ng diet ang nako-cover ninyo?
Marami rin kasi kaming nabubulol ako, ano ba yan? Nare-rescue na animals sa different locations here in diet. Pero I'll be really honest with you, we still really need to work out with regards naman sa information dissemination. Kasi meron palang ibang mga tao na they do not know that there is an organization like Diet Savings Trace na nag-exist na ang main niya is animal
sa
welfare.
Animals.
So, ayun.
Yeah. And, alam mo ba, during our discussion, mukhang may napapaisip na ako ng thesis ko rin. Oh my God. I don't know if I will put this on air, pero if naririnig nyo to, so this is a good thesis to work on, whether I think this is for masters or PhD if you want to talagang elaborate for social change. Start with the animal rights group. So, maybe I'll let you know if ito ang naging thesis ko sa masters ko.
Aabangan ko.
Yeah. So, to support sa mga nakikinig, in order to support the DSS, tama? DSS, Diet Savings Trace. The links to their Facebook profiles will be added down below, as well as nandun na lahat, how you can contact them, how you can support them via GCash, bank accounts, I think.
Yeah, GCash.
GCash, bank accounts. So, merch din, please support. Because, yun nga, to quote one of the rescuers na nakausap ko doon sa previous conversations namin, ang role natin is to have a voice to those creatures na walang boses din. So, since you have that voice, use that voice to promote their safety and welfare. So, with that said, Miss Ada, thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
I had a lot of fun, and we said so much. We said controversial opinions.
And medyo napapaisip na nga ako ngayon eh.
We said controversial opinions, but nonetheless, I think it should be sufficient to provide clarifications. Then, to our listeners na there are people out there who will risk their time, their efforts, their love to support animals then. So, support them as well. They need you guys. So, yeah. Any more final message for us?
Ayun. So, nabanggit ko earlier, we're in the beginning stages of our shelter for strays project, and this shelter aims to provide a temporary home for the abandoned and neglected animals, and if ever this is going to be the first of its kind here in the province of Camarines Norte. So please support our endeavor. This is going to make a big change, I believe, dito sa Daet, na meron tayong ganitong shelter, and we can't wait na to share with you guys kung ano pa yung ibang activities. So, see you soon.
Okay, and with that, thank you so much for listening to this episode of Chill Talks Podcast. Again, thank you so much to the Rusty Cafe for the wonderful ambience accommodation during this recording and during this episode. So, if you want to support the Rusty Cafe, if nandito kayo sa Daet, please drop by, and it is worth your time. So, this is your host, PJ, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.